Hiya, hopefully you can see me all right. So this little video is a few stretches, ideal to do after you run, not with the cold muscles. Most of these are probably quite familiar to you, but I'll cover a good range and then you can do those that feel good in your body. So just going through how to do each stretch correctly. So starting with calf and down into the Achilles tendon. So you want to have your feet in a split stance and taking your weight forward whilst, if you can, keeping that heel on the ground. You want to feel a mild tension at the back of the calf without overdoing it, holding it until you feel that tension start to release. And then you can step back out of it and you can do again. So often with stretches, I'll do 2 or 3 on each side before changing over. Another way to get a little stretch into the calves. So if there's you're outside, if there's a curb or if you have a step even is to allow keeping your weight on both feet, to allow one heel to drop off behind. That's it, and sink down. That's a nice calf stretch as well. And again, other side here. So again, having control and not being overly aggressive. Quad stretches, so the front of the thighs. You've been doing hills, you might be feeling these quite tight, so you can support yourself, or if your balance is all right, then you're going to lift one heel, bringing that heel in towards your bottom. So what you want to do though is keep both knees next to each other and slightly push forward from the hips. So you should really feel this down at the front of the thigh. And again, we hold it no more than, I would say, 30 seconds. There's some doubt nowadays, even if you need to hold it for that length of time. A lot of stretches, as long as you're holding it, it's nice to get to a point where you feel that muscle just start to ease. If it's quite warm, you've been working hard, that muscle already might be quite long, so it might not need an awful lot of stretching. You can do this stretch on the floors. I know I've cut my head off here, but you can see my legs. So with hamstrings, split stance again, taking the weight this time into the back leg and sinking down. So you're sending your bottom away. The stretch is in the front leg, at the back of the thigh. You can have toes on the floor, you can bring the toes up, sometimes that increases a little. Try to hinge from the hips and not allow yourself to be rounded as you fall forward. So a nice long spine. Again, just get to the point where you feel that mild tension there. You can rest the hands on your opposite leg if you like. Sinking into that, and coming back out. And I'll show you the other side. So again, you might want to do this a couple of times either side, 2 or 3, but for demonstration purposes, I'll just do it once either side. So the inside of the thighs, the adductors, taking a wide stance here, and then taking your weight over to one leg, sinking down, and you should feel that on the inside of that opposite thigh. Often a muscle that gets ignored. And IT band, so to the outside of the hips, a couple of different things we can do here. So A traditional stretch is crossing one foot over and then a little stretch down to the side. You feel it outside of the hip or to the other side. Alternative to that is feet roughly underneath hips, sinking that hand down and allowing that hip to travel out. Then when it's out beyond your ankle, reaching out with this opposite hand, so you're like a little teapot, and again feeling it in at the side of the hip. Okay. Coming down to again to the front of the thigh. So we've done the front of the thigh here, but the front of the hips, the hip flexors, these can get quite tight, particularly if you do a lot of sitting and you're not running. So a couple of different ways to get in to them. You can down onto one knee. So your front leg, knees are up over the ankle, back leg, hip is over that knee. So what you want to think about here is tucking your tailbone under, tilting your pelvis back the way, and then pushing forward through the hip. And you should feel this right in at the front of that hip. Not so much the thigh, but higher up and at the hip itself. Not a huge move. But oftentimes you see people doing this stretch. There's a lot of this going on, that's all at the back. We're really focusing down on that hip. A little push forward on the bottom and then release. Let's come to the upper body. While you're running, you are working the upper body as well. And sometimes you're going to get tension in around the neck and the shoulders. So a little bit of stretching there can be quite nice. A shoulder stretch, quite simple, taking the arm across the body, holding it above or below the elbow, but not on the elbow. A little stretch here. You can take both hands, clasp them behind your back, and reach out. That will open up the front of the chest. And opposite way, taking them in front of you again, clasping the hands and pushing forward round and the shoulders out here. And coming back to standing. So this is a nice one to do, and don't sit down on the mat for it. So feet hip width or maybe a little bit wider, shoulder width apart, knees nice and soft. And again, folding forward from the hips, so with a nice long spine. What you're doing is not trying to reach for the floor. You're taking your chest towards your legs. You will feel a little bit of tension at the back of the legs. Let the knees soften, because it's not about, let's say, reaching. Make sure your neck is nice and loose. Just hanging down. Take a wee breath here, allow everything just to elongate. And then as you come back up, I'm going to tuck that tailbone under and imagine you're stacking your spine back up, one vertebra at a time. So again for you, that's holding forward. So if you only come to here and you're resting your hands on your thighs, that's fine. You can still get a really nice effect by tucking the tailbone under as you come back up. Just allow yourself to come down as far as is comfortable in your body, and then tucking tailbone under, coming back up, really articulating all the way through the spine. So hopefully you find that useful, and I'll be doing a couple of other little videos soon about warming up, mobilising joints and some core strength as well.